Hello, guys. Nat Blue here, and today I would like to give a review of Smile 2. I was so excited for this movie. Smile 1 is one of my favorite horror movies, probably my top three movies for 2022, if not top movie for 2022. So I was super excited to get into this one, and I think they did an amazing job of following up from the first movie. The beginning of the movie is a quick follow up from the first movie. So it kind of ends that storyline, which is great to kind of wrap that up right away. I cannot believe that this is only the second movie directed by Parker Finn, or the second feature film directed by Parker Finn. Uh, he is a newer director. He's done some short films and stuff too, but to have two amazing horror movies on your resume right off the bat is insane. He does such a great job. I think the jump scares in this was so well executed. Sometimes jump scares can cheapen a movie, you know? And I think they did such a good job placing them in the right parts, leading up to them, and then somehow still pulling it off. Like there were moments where I anticipated the jump scare. Like I knew it was coming. The music would start to swell, and I knew there was a scare on the way, you know? And they still somehow got me. There were moments of this movie I thought my heart was going to come out of my chest. During the build up and everything, I was so tense. I love a movie that makes me void the entire movie. It makes me more anxious. The beginning of the movie, at least in theaters, the main actress, Naomi Scott, intros the movie by saying, "Hey, I was super honored to be in this movie. Please lean back or sit on the edge of your seat if you would prefer." And I joked to the person I was with and said, "There's no way I'm going to sit on the edge of my seat. That doesn't sound comfortable. This is a 2 hour movie. It's like 2 hours and 10 minutes almost," which I thought going into the movie was going to be a problem because I'm not really into long movies, but I think it flew by, which is great. Uh, Throughout the movie, I found myself on the edge of my seat more than a couple of times. To be honest, I was in one of those movie theaters with the reclining lounges, which I love those. And I was inclining the lounger every so often, putting the footrest back in to sit on the edge of my seat, like literally almost. I was wearing a hoodie and I kept putting the hoodie up, gripping onto the collar of the hoodie, falling around the little aglet. Is that still an aglet or is that only for tennis shoes? I was wearing a ring on my finger that I kept falling around. There was a lot of messing with things while I was watching this movie just to kind of take that edge off because they did such a good job scaring me. And that's what I want from a horror movie. I think a lot of modern horror movies are not very good at that. So, super excited to get a movie that actually scared me. That doesn't happen as often anymore. I'm a huge fan of scary movies, more so than scary games because I don't like the immersion of a scary game. And I don't get a lot of great horror movies anymore. So I was really excited to jump into one that I knew from the get go was going to be good, but it still kind of blew my expectations out of the water. I think the supporting cast was amazing. All of the side actors and actresses did such a great job. There were some characters that were meant to be kind of hated that were kind of hated. I do think there were moments of this movie where the smiles were not as creepy as the first movie. I feel like Smile 1, they took a lot of time to find actors and actresses that specifically had scary looking smiles. I don't think they did that in this. I think they took a lot of time finding actors and actresses that were good at acting, and that's fine. I think they all did such a good job. I do think it's kind of weird that Drew Barrymore's in this movie playing Drew Barrymore as a talk show host on The Drew, which I didn't realize Drew Barrymore actually has a talk show until right before I recorded this video because I Googled it. And I thought it was kind of weird that she was just in the movie, but that's okay. Um, I don't want to get into spoilers yet. We're going to get into spoilers. But overall, I think they did such a great job. The movie was a lot more gruesome than the first one. And I think part of that is I believe that the director, I guess, had a bigger budget. It looks like he signed a deal with Paramount after the first Smile movie to make a sequel. And I think some other movies for them. So had a bigger budget. We can actually look to see what the budget for Smile 1 was. Because the budget for Smile 2, it looks like was $28 million. How much was Smile 1's budget? Smile 1's was 17. So 10 million, $11 million more for the second movie. And you could tell the effects were really good. There was a lot of blood. There was some scenes where I'm like, that's a little bit too much blood because it just wasn't as realistic as I expected it to be in a couple of moments, but that's okay. The hallucinations in this movie were great. That's not even a spoiler. The first movie, a big part of Smile is that you're hallucinating the smiling people most of the time. Or all of the time, I guess. It's kind of iffy because there's a moment in this movie that's in the trailer of a little girl smiling. And they say that the smiling people are hallucinations. I 100% think everybody in this movie saw this little girl, though. So I don't know what that was about. There are a lot of moments in this movie where I'm genuinely confused, which is fine. There's moments that they still don't answer by the end of the movie, which is also fine. But I think they did an amazing job. The soundtrack was so good too. They did a great job with that. Loved this movie. I think I would probably give this a 9 out of 10. They did such a good job. Now, to get into spoilers, let's get no, you know what? You know what? Let's not get into spoilers yet. There's one more thing we need to discuss. This is not necessarily a spoiler. The actress or the character, not even the actress, the character in this movie drinks an incredible amount of water. It's honestly part of her character. Like, they explain why she drinks so much water. The weird thing is, she specifically only drinks Voss water. At one point, she's like, "Oh, I was told to drink an entire glass of water if this happens." She drinks an entire glass bottle of Voss. Voss water is not cheap. To be fair, Voss water is not cheap. And it's kind of crazy that it's in the movie so much. You know? Like, I understand that Voss is good water. I've had it before. But it's in the movie a lot. A 6-pack or a 4-pack of 375 milliliter Voss, which is not big, is $24 on Amazon. Man, like, that's insane. And I understand it's like artisan water. I don't know, man. It's so expensive. I just want you guys to understand it is such expensive water. I think a glass bottle by itself is probably $6 or $7. That's crazy. Okay, so crazy. It was just so weird. It kind of took me out a few times just because it's insane how often it's in there. There's a scene. This also I don't think is a spoiler, but there's a scene where glass breaks. Okay, and the only piece of the glass that's left has the Voss logo on it. That's crazy. I don't understand. It's just such an over the top product placement. Like they went way too far with the Voss water product placement. And I just googled Smile 2 Voss, and everybody is talking about how much it's in here. It's just I don't understand how it's so often. There's a TikTok that just came up on my Google called "Did anybody else watch the Voss water? I mean Smile 2 this weekend?" Because it's just the same. It's just in the movie so much. It's in the movie probably more than in most of the characters. There's a YouTube video called "Good Movie Bad Voss Water Commercial." It's crazy. I told my friend I went to the movie with, I'm like, "Hey, is this just Smile 2 presented by Voss?" Like, they paid for half the movie at this point. That's a weird tangent to go to, and I understand that. I understand it's a weird tangent, but God, it's in the movie so much. Okay, so much. Now to get into spoilers. So, if you have not seen Smile 2 and you plan to see Smile 2, do not keep watching this video. Just click off the video, okay? Because you're going to get some stuff spoiled for you. Smile 2 starts with the police officer from Smile 1. I don't remember the guy's character name. I'm bad with names. I have an article pulled up right now, so I don't forget the names of the main characters. So, Smile 2 takes place directly after the first one. So, it you get into the movie with the guy concluding the storyline from the first movie. A drug dealer witnesses a couple of people get killed. One of the best jump scares happens at the beginning of the movie with a truck hitting a guy. I really was not expecting it. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it. Really caught me off guard. Great part. Okay. Drug dealer meets up with Sky Riley, the main character. Sky, she is a pop star. Meets up with her later in the movie. So, Sky, great character. Naomi Scott crushed it playing Sky. She is a pop star that has not been in the limelight for a while because a few years ago, she got into a car accident, or a year ago, I don't know. Got into a car accident, and her boyfriend died in the car accident. There's some reveals with that later. We won't even get into that. But gets into a car accident, goes through the hospital, has to have surgery on her back, her knee, stuff like that. And she is a recovering addict. However, you meet this drug dealer because she hits him up for Vicodin. So maybe not necessarily recovering in that part of the movie, but she gets Vicodin from him, or tries to get Vicodin from him. When she goes over to his house, bashes his face in with a free weight. Oddly enough, I don't think it's the only time that somebody's face gets bashed in to die in this movie, which is odd. Okay? I'll admit that's weird about this movie. So, bashes his head in with a free weight. She gets the course transferred to her. Okay? Crazy. She keeps seeing the guy, makes sense, even if she didn't have the course. If you see somebody die, you're going to keep seeing them out of the corner of your eye and stuff like that. But she decides not to call the police because she is famous and she doesn't want the legal implications that could come with her calling the police while she's inside of a drug dealer's house. Understandable. She doesn't even want the press, which is also understandable. Okay? Great. She starts to spiral a little bit. Her mom makes a comment about how she hasn't talked to a friend in a while. Weirdly, I'm going to skip through this really quickly. So she calls her friend. Friend comes over, blah, blah, blah. Weird thing with a stalker guy. We're not going to go through the entire plot, but I wanted to talk about a couple of things in it. There's a weird moment that's in the trailer of this little girl smiling at an autograph signing. It's weird to me because it says in the movie that the people smiling are hallucinations of the infected person. But I feel like everybody sees this little girl. So is the little girl getting a picture not smiling? And Sky just thinks she's smiling? Or does the little girl not exist? Like, I don't understand that part of the movie. If anybody can explain it to me, please leave a comment. I really want to know what was going on there. She meets a really creepy guy there who somewhat comes back later in the movie, oddly. I thought that when he came back into her apartment and everything, that it was actually happening. It kind of threw me off guard that it wasn't. I thought that that was a thing that was going on until that person got there. So, keep spiraling, meet somebody who claims that they can cure the smile virus by killing her, which is crazy. Now, this is where things start to get really weird. She continues to spiral until an incredible scene inside of her apartment. So, her apartment gets overrun by these smiling people. Now, I don't think there was a scare like this in the first movie. It's been a little bit since I've seen Smile 1, but there's so many people inside of this apartment that are smiling. An insane number. And they kind of crowd on top of her. And then you cut out to her being in the hospital. Understandable. Now, okay, just to go back to that, the choreography and everything in that scene was incredible. The entire soundtrack of this movie is so good too. All of the swelling and stuff. You really felt the tenseness of that scene. I feel like there were a couple of things she could have done there. Honestly, if I was in this situation, I'm just taking myself out. Honest, honest to God, I'm just gonna kill myself if all of these people are rushing at me like that. Or unalive myself. Am I allowed to say this on YouTube? It's okay. Look, I'm not making money off of this anyway. So she she wakes up in the hospital. Her mom's there. Her mom says some stuff to her that seems a little out of character. Gets a smile on her face. You know how it goes. It happens a lot in these movies. Okay? So she her mom starts stabbing herself. You learn that this is a hallucination. And this guy killed her mom. Now, in this moment, I did not like this. Because she calls, I think it's Morris, who claimed that he could help her in this course. And says that she needs to get this figured out directly after this. Why? You committed murder. Your life is not going to be the same after this. Why do you want to keep living now? Because if you think about it, the implication here is that she's going to go to jail. There's no way the police are going to believe that she didn't kill her mom, that it was some monster inhabiting her mom. Okay? There's no way. So her career's over. She's going to jail, or at least a psych ward for the rest of her life. So why is this the pivotal moment where she decides? This gets explained later. But in the moment, I was very confused. She rushes out, gets a call, holds up people at gunpoint, everything, meets her best friend, who's been in the movie a few times. Okay? She went to her apartment, stayed the night. She was there the next morning. She's been in the movie a couple of times. And they've been texting, they reconnected. On the drive to this place that she's meeting up with Morris to deal with this, she gets a phone call from her best friend. I thought this was going to be her mom, but her best friend makes sense. Because her best friend says on the phone, I don't know why you called me. I was kind of caught off guard. I don't know if I want to reconnect with you because this friendship did not end well. And then Sky realizes that the best friend that's in the call with her is not her best friend. It's that entity. She claims that she has control over this. She gets the car, she drives, doesn't know how to drive, swerves all over the place. Oddly enough, not knowing how to drive means you can't use a steering wheel because she's swerving all over the freaking road. Okay, that's whatever. She gets to this Papa John's, oddly enough. I think it was Papa John's. It was either Papa John's or Pizza Hut or something, a pizza restaurant. Okay? Gets locked in, goes into a freezer to do this procedure with the guy who's supposed to help her out. This is where it gets really weird because while she's doing the procedure, or while she's prepping for this, the entity comes back. And she stabs herself in the neck with a needle that is supposed to kill her. Then the entity lets her know that this isn't real. And that Sky does not have control over anything. And that none of this has been happening. And it is revealed that the needle's not there anymore. And she snaps to, and she's at her concert, at the beginning of the concert. Her mom is still alive. She doesn't have the bloody clothes on or anything anymore. She's in costume. So this is where it got confusing for me a little bit, because they don't explain how long she's been hallucinating this, how long it's been not real. The theory that I saw on YouTube earlier today, so I watched the Escape Pod, which is a great podcast on YouTube by two great guys. They normally talk about naughtier things like superheroes, Star Wars, stuff along those lines. But they reviewed Smile 2 today, or the day that I'm recording this. And they believe that the hallucinations started when all of those creatures piled on top of her. And because one of them reaches their hand into her mouth, which is normally what happens when they get like taken over. I think it could have started before that. So her friend was never there. which could be explained just by this entity pretending to be a friend the entire time. It might not mean that none of it was happening. The entity can pretend to be people. It takes on the look of people that you know. So it could be that the entity was just there in place of her friend. And that could explain why in the fourth scene that you meet her friend, there's a guy chasing her down the hallway, but then when she sees her friend, the guy's not there anymore. And maybe that's because the entity can only be her. But that stops making sense as soon as you realize there were like 20 people in her house that were all this entity. So I don't know how that worked, but friend was never there. And my friend, Joe, that I went to see this movie with, you guys might know Joe, he's been on the channel a couple of times, pointed out that explains why the mom didn't react to seeing the friend. There's a scene where her mom comes to her apartment because she's late for something. And her mom had been telling her that she should reconnect with this friend because they hadn't talked in a while and they were really good friends. But the friend's in the room, says hi to the mom. The mom doesn't even look at her in the scene. The scene doesn't last much longer past that hi, to be fair, but doesn't look at her in the scene. My friend's theory, Joe's theory, is that the mom didn't see her because only the person hallucinating can see the hallucinations. Makes sense, okay? Movie ends with Sky offing herself in the concert by using the microphone. Do I assume bash her face in and shove the microphone through her eye socket? I don't understand how you successfully do that with a microphone. I don't think most microphones would be heavy enough to be a lethal weapon, but that's how the movie ends, with a crowd of so many people. For context, this is Sky's first concert back since the car crash. All of her fans are at this concert. It's like a lot of people. All of the big fans are at this concert. So I think the implication there is that now this entity can possess everybody. And there's a scene in this movie where the entity is saying, "Oh, I love wearing your skin." And as soon as he said that, I thought to myself, is this guy going to use her fame to draw in a big audience? And that's exactly what it did. Exactly what it did. And I shouldn't have been surprised by that, but I didn't expect it, honestly. I thought it was a possibility, but I didn't think that this entity could possess a lot of people at once. So that the implication of that is insane. And I think it really opens up for a Smile 3, so I'm really excited about that. I think I over-explained the plot, okay? I'll be honest, I over-explained the plot. I should have just talked about the stuff that I really liked, but the movie was so scary. The jump scares and everything were great. The just build up of everything was so good. I was just so tense the entire movie, which is what I love. So overall, I would so much recommend this to anybody. For some reason, the Screen Rant score is garbage. What is this? It's like a 5 out of 10. There's no way. No way Screen Rant thinks that this is a 5 out of 10. That's ridiculous. Why is the audience scores only 3.8? What? Am I crazy, guys? Why are the audience scores so low? A lot of 4 stars, that's fine. A lot of 4 stars. That's more than okay. Somebody gave it a 3-star and said that it's a well-constructed sequel with great cinematography. The cinematography was so good. The lighting and everything, the shots were so great. I mean, it was a little bit too gory in parts, but I think with the new budget, they just had to do that, you know? They said it's not as much of a horror film as the first one. I don't like that. Why am I reading reviews of this movie? There's got to be a really bad one, because almost all of these are 5 and 4s. There's like 500 reviews on Google. How the heck did they get a 3.8? I've only seen 1 3-star review, so I don't know who gave it like a 1-star or something. I don't understand why. Oh. Whoa. This guy said it might be the most hilariously bad movie they've seen all year. Madam Web came out this year. I was told Borderlands was really bad. I've heard awful things about the Joker. But this guy said it had one of the silliest moments and they were laughing throughout the entire movie. It's a dude that him and his brother were laughing the entire movie. Buddy, you don't gotta act tough on the Google reviews, okay? Everybody in my theater was jumping. Everybody. Insane. Like, there was so many jump scares. I don't understand why. Look, I need to stop reading the reviews. Everybody's saying that the movie was comical and cliche. Not everybody. Like 3 reviews so far. That it was funny, that Naomi Scott wasn't a good actress. She killed it in this movie. I don't know how people can have such bad takes. If you guys don't like the movie, like these Google reviews that I'm reading for no apparent reason, and I thought this was going to be a 15-minute movie, or a 15-minute video, I would love for you to comment and explain to me why you don't like it. This person gave a good point, a solid point, probably the worst part of the movie. The reason I might not give it a 10 out of 10 and just give it a 9 out of 10, there's a lot of like interruptions where there's a flashback. And I'm not a huge fan of that. They flashed back to like the car and everything a little bit too often to me. I don't know. I don't know how people, I could understand like 3 or 4 stars, but there's a few 1 stars. So some people are saying they were confused. I get it. I get that. But somebody said huge potholes. No. Okay. I'm done reading Google reviews for this video. I'm not done reading them overall. I'm going to keep reading them. But if you didn't like the movie, please let me know, because I am so curious as to how anybody could dislike this. And just give me the comments. Give me a comment just on your opinion of the movie. If you loved it, let me know. If this is one of your favorite horror movies, let me know. If you have other movies that you think I should watch, like scary movies, I love scary movies. I'm not a huge fan of scary games. You might be able to tell if you've watched me play any of them, but I love scary movies and I love recommendations for scary movies. So if you have any recommendations, please leave a comment about that. If you have any opinions that I might not have shared, please leave a comment. If there were any moments that jumped out to you, leave a comment. If you liked the video, like always, just leave a like, it doesn't cost anything. And you can subscribe to the channel if you want to. You can subscribe to the channel for free. And you can hit that notification bell to be notified when new videos are released. I don't do a lot of movie reviews, but every so often I do. And I might, in the next couple of years, I'm probably going to do a lot of them because there's a lot of comic book movies coming out. And I'm a huge fan of comic book movies. So other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope the video wasn't too long because I did not expect it to be this long. And until next time, peace.